My fellow citizens of the world, ask not what America will do for you, but what together we can do for the freedom of man.
Throughout the history of our country, the media has played a strong role in influencing the American public in the way they vote and what they believe about the government.
Where then is the road to peace? Well, it's a simple answer after all. You and I have the courage to say to our enemies, there is a price we will not pay, there is a point beyond which they must not advance.
Great politicians have always been able to influence the masses through powerful speeches. With each new advancement in media technology comes an even broader impact that politicians have. For instance, the newspaper allowed a single address to reach almost the entire population. The radio and television personalized that address by putting a voice and a face to the written word. And today we have the internet, where almost any piece of information is available to us at a moment's notice. Today we will take a look through history at how the media has been employed in America's greatest political wars, namely the presidential races. In the early days of the United States, presidential candidates would campaign by addressing the masses in person or via the newspaper. Just like in today's world, the candidates and their supporters would use the media to play on their own strengths as well as slander their opponents. In the election of 1800, the current Vice President Thomas Jefferson sought to overthrow the incumbent President Adams. Jefferson and his supporters paid the Richmond Examiner, a local newspaper, to say that the president had a, quote, hideous hermaphroditical character, which has neither the force and firmness of a man, nor the gentleness and sensibility of a woman. Ouch! Adams supporters retaliated by calling Jefferson a, quote, mean-spirited, low-lived fellow, the son of a half-breed Indian squaw, sired by a Virginia mulatto father. Let's jump ahead to the election of 1860. Although it later became expected for presidential candidates to travel by train from town to town giving addresses to win votes, at the time it was still considered an underhanded scheme. Stephen A. Douglas chose this tactic anyway, and tried to alleviate the fact by stating that he was simply making a trip to see his mother and making a few stops along the way. Abraham Lincoln and his supporters took note that this train ride lasted over a month before he made it to his mother. They even put out a lost child announcement in the newspapers that said he, quote, left Washington, D.C. sometime in July to go home to his mother, who is very anxious about him, seen in Philadelphia, New York City, Hartford, Connecticut, and at a clam bake in Rhode Island. Answers to the name Little Giant, talks a great deal, very loud, always about himself. While the Republicans were busy poking fun at Douglas's campaign strategies, Douglas's supporters had several newspapers publish articles about Lincoln's appearance. One paper stated, quote, Lincoln is the leanest, lankest, most ungainly mass of legs and arms and hatchet face ever strung on a single frame, while another said he is, quote, a horrid-looking wretch, sooty and scoundrelly in aspect, a cross between the nutmeg dealer, the horse swapper, and the nightman. That's basically today's equivalent of calling him the son of the milkman, mailman, and the plumber. Generally, in today's campaign strategies, candidates are more discreet in their mudslinging tactics. Most negative campaign ads in modern times can be categorized as either an attack ad or a contrast ad. An attack ad contains only negative information about the opponent.
After gambling your money on his failed stimulus, President Obama says,
"Don't blow a bunch of cash on Vegas."
He doesn't get it.
A contrast ad will still state the negative traits of the opponent, but will then contrast this with the positive aspects of the candidate.
Governor Romney's plan would cut taxes for the folks at the very top. But you know what? We tried that top-down approach. It's what caused the mess in the first place. I believe the only way to create an economy built to last is to strengthen the middle class.
Out of these two strategies, studies have shown that attack ads are more influential in winning votes than contrast ads. But mudslinging alone has never been the only strategy used when campaigning through the media. Candidates have to be powerful speakers.
If nothing in life is worth dying for, when did this begin?
Have strong platforms, and have catchy slogans or jingles in order to gain the voters' alliance.
Ike for president, Ike for president, Ike for president, Ike for president. You like Ike, I like Ike, everybody likes Ike for president.
This positive campaigning offers a sense of security for voters, knowing that their country is in good and capable hands. But if gaining trust among friends takes time, gaining the trust of the voters takes even longer. And likewise, if losing trust in friends can happen overnight, losing the trust of the voters can happen even quicker. Negative campaign strategies are so effective because a 30-second commercial can undo months and even years of built-up trust in the opposing candidate. Though the technology in media has changed through time, the methods used in the road to the presidency have been the same since the early days of our country.